It was resting on a shelf, neatly bundled up, almost begging for me to touch it. I put my clothes on the ground before pulling it out. The rope unraveled itself, the weight of my nightmares resting in my hands. What I called my last resort to stop. Oof. Hey guys, Kaderi Ghost here, and welcome back to Doki Doki Lost Ascension. So, I began rummaging through my pantry, locating the box of ramen I was searching for. Exiting the closet and dashing across the kitchen, I got out a pot and hummed a quiet tune to myself. I filled the pot with water and struggled to get it over to the stovetop, letting out a sigh of relief as I put it down. I dropped the ramen into the pot and got a few veggies out to add to it. My stomach started to grumble as I put the meal together. All of these actions just felt so natural and fun. I haven't cooked in so long, maybe that's why. The last time I cooked, I nearly burnt the house down. This is Sayori. Okay, we're playing as Sayori. A fleeting thought crossed my mind as I stopped paying attention to the pot. I wonder if Monika knows about all of that. She seems to know a lot. It must have been terrible surviving with no human contact for so long. In that moment, as if by fate itself, I heard a large sizzle erupt from the stove as my water boiled over, nearly sending some of my precious food with it. Oh no, not my food. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I quickly turned the burner off and lifted the pot off the stove, moving it over to the table. Dang it, at least nothing caught fire this time. Right, you know? I shook my head as I laughed to myself, getting a bowl before sitting down at the table. I took in a deep breath as the smell of the freshly cooked ramen enveloped the room. Soon enough, I couldn't take it anymore. The food was being poured into the bowl. I picked up my fork and shoveled several mouthfuls within seconds. I couldn't believe it. It tasted so good. I smiled to myself as I dug into my meal, my thoughts focusing entirely on the meal. After I had finished my food, I cleaned up my mess before heading upstairs to get changed. Oh, Mr. Cow. Laid out atop the dresser was my casual outfit. Not exactly, but I decided against it, wanting to wear something more comfy. I got my pajamas out of my dresser instead, hugging them as I looked over at my closet for a moment, freezing in place. Is that real too? I walked over and placed my hand on the door, swallowing once as I tried not to think about it too much. I opened the door slowly. It was resting on a shelf, neatly bundled up, almost begging for me to touch it. I put my clothes on the ground before pulling it out. The rope unraveled itself, the weight of my nightmares resting in my hands. What I called my last resort to stop. Oof. I shook my head, calling this oof. Alright. Calling this oof, yes. I clutched it with my one hand as I closed my closet door, walking over to the window and opening it. The cool air greeted me as I looked out over my backyard, looking down at the thing that could kill me. I nodded to myself once. This thing is dragging me down, and now I have a reason to look beyond. Isn't it dragging you up? I'll shut up. Why did I even think this was a good idea? I threw the rope outside, hearing a resounding thud echo up towards me. A feeling of relief began to soothe my worries. I put my hand to my head and rubbed it gently. The stress of what I had just done began to seep in. I decided against taking a shower, instead opting to jump into bed and let sleep sort out my problems for now. Oof, good one. Giving up your only chance of freedom for what? The possibility of getting a half-assed promise fulfilled? Okay. My alarm went off, causing me to shoot up. Sayori. I practically slammed my alarm into my nightstand as I hugged my legs. Where was I? Who am I? What am I? Oh right, I'm in my room, and at one point was sleeping peacefully. I pulled over Mr. Cow and hugged him tightly as I yawned, the reality of yesterday beginning to sit in. All of my confused thoughts from then were, as I expected, completely sorted out. Today is going to be even better than yesterday. I can feel it. I knew it would be, especially with how wonderful everyone was. I set Mr. Cow back down into his respective spot before getting out of bed and heading over to my dresser. I pulled out a new set of school clothes and smiled at them. I rubbed them on my face, feeling the soft fabric brush up against my skin. I feel like it would not be smooth, but alright. They were surprisingly soft, a perfect way to wake up. I got changed prior to heading downstairs, smiling at the early morning sun as it graced me with its warmth. Yes, praise the sun, guys. Praise the sun. Okay. I walked in the kitchen and clapped my hands together as the perfect meal came to mind once again. Eggs and toast. I said it out loud to nobody in particular. That was the best breakfast in the whole wide world, and nobody can convince me otherwise. I don't know, man. Bacon, egg, and cheese is pretty good, though. Gotta say, okay. I went to the fridge and pulled out the eggs, humming to myself as I went around and got my breakfast set up. I stayed 100% focused on my meal, knowing I could perfect it. Okay, I mostly focused on my meal. I kind of burnt my eggs a little. But they still tasted really good. Yeah. just cut away the burnt parts. I finished up my meal and put the dishes into the sink, making a mental note to handle this later. I sighed happily as I went over to the front door and grabbed my bag, strapping it over my shoulders. I glanced back for a moment, eyeing over the kitchen. I wasn't going to let the house burn down. Oof. Yeah, I mean, are you sure about that, Sayori? Satisfied with the way it looked, I went outside and with a skip to my step. I looked back at my home and tilted my head slightly, wondering how long it took to make it exist. It's still my home, isn't it? Even if it isn't entirely real or anything. I mean, it's real enough to you, right? Right? I mean, you're in that world, so technically it's real, right? Oh, I did an oopsie and didn't read that. Oh, Monica said I had to walk with him to school today. I wonder if he really looks the way Monica described him. I turned and hid in the bushes for a moment, making my hair a bit more messy as I waited for him to finally appear. Why not just be normal? The game. It's changed. I could tell just from the scene outside of his house, something was poking out of a bush. There was a length of rope. Was it supposed to say she? Length of rope, assumedly from the ditzy neighbor. I could be wrong. It could just be a symbol of surrender. But that doesn't really matter. The main thing was if Sayori was still there or acting the same. For a moment, I was expecting a drastic change in character, at least up until that same old text came up. Hey. I could see an annoying girl running towards me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. Okay. Alright, so we are playing as the main character now. Alright, that's interesting. You know, the kind of friend you'd never... Yeah, okay, we get it. I sighed audibly as I leaned back in my chair. I was starting to get genuinely disgusted by this point. Why can't... Okay. Whoa. Sayori tripped, landing face first on the pavement. A quiet sob came from her as she stood up. She was rubbing her cheeks, trying to nurture them. Meanie, why didn't you try to catch me? She was looking up at him, a sour look on her face as she stood up and brushed herself off. Sorry, gotta clear my throat, you know. Alright, let's just go, okay? She stuttered a little bit as she stomped off past him in the direction of the school. To my amazement, the MC seemed entirely unfazed by this, acting like he was part of the normal game. I sat back and watched. For once I was actually interested in whatever Monica had planned out. I wonder what she did this time. She tried many things before, but this seems a bit extreme. Messing with Sayori? What else did she learn to do? Yeah. He's sleeping. I watched him from the safety of the window in the door. He was staring off into space, seemingly lost in his thoughts. I sighed as I opened the door, hearing him mutter about the anime club. No wonder I always thought of him as a NEET. I approached him and cleared my throat to get his attention. Ahem. Cool. He suddenly looked at me, way faster than I would have ever expected. His eyes were fixated on me with a strange, condescending glare. I swallowed my nervousness, trying to ignore the overall feeling of dread as I looked at him. I thought I would catch you coming out of class, but I just saw you sitting in there. I laughed nervously, trying to stay true to the script thing that I could feel it's writing itself in my head. You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late to your own club. I shook my head. Well, I thought you could use some encouragement. So, I thought maybe I could take you to my club today? Alright. I put on my best smile, hoping to be in character. Sayori, I know the response to this, don't I? There's no way I'm going to join your club. I pouted immediately, even though I knew it was coming. It was honestly annoying how he was acting. Heh, meanie. He seemed to contemplate for a moment. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. I internally screamed. Ree! Please? Come on. I told the others you would be coming. Plus, Natsuki made cupcakes. Yeah! If she forgot to make cupcakes, I don't know what I'll do. Oh god, please, have made cupcakes. Don't make promises you can't keep. He sighed audibly. Man, it always annoys me when he does that. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? I forced my bright smile as I clasped my hands together. Yes, let's go right now. I turned around and rushed out of the room, his presence following me close behind. A shudder went down my spine from his eyes staring me down hard. I couldn't even see him, I could just feel it. Alright. And here's Natsuki. Pink hair girl. Cupcake person, alright. Please just remember the plan, okay girls? Monika said it sternly. I'd never seen her look so nervous and serious at the same time before. I feel like they're gonna inject code into the cupcakes or something. I don't know, dude. Please, Monika, you know we can handle it, right? Yuri said it quietly as she shifted nervously in her seat, Monika letting out a sigh. Yuri was looking mildly uncomfortable, having to wait for the scenario to play out. She kept shooting me glances. Yeah, Monika. You know we can handle whatever comes up. I doubt he's gonna be any trouble, okay? I smirked widely as Monika smiled. She seemed far less nervous now. Alright, I'll take your word for it. I can trust you too. Monika went up to her podium and sat down at it, writing in her notebook. I reached down and pulled out the first volume of my favorite manga, Parfait Girls. I opened it up and felt a smile come across my face as I looked at the first page. No matter what Yuri says, manga is literature. I pouted to myself as I thought about ways to convince her that it was literature. At least until I heard loud footsteps approaching the door. Sayori was being unnecessarily loud again. Oh, Sayori. Alright guys, I'm going to end the episode there. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please smash that like button, and also hit that subscribe button to become a ghost, and I'll see you next time. Peace.